What happens if you take the two biggest characters from Devil May Cry, turn them into playable characters in Dungeons & Dragons, and then make them fight each other? Well, let's find out, because we're going to put Dante and Vergil up against each other in a D&D Deathmatch versus battle. I built both of them on this channel, so let's go ahead and dive in. Dante's going to be coming in with 17 levels of Hexblade Warlock, topped off with 3 levels of Battlemaster Fighter. He's got high charisma, and he's going to be able to get some boost to that damage when he uses a big ol' sword, because he's got great Weapon Master. On the other side, we've got his brother, Vergil, and Vergil has a bit more versatility because he is a blade singing wizard at heart. With 17 levels in that wizard, we also have 3 more levels just to boost up that teleportation ability he uses pretty often, giving us 3 levels of Echo Knight Fighter, which is a subclass that allows you to create an echo of yourself, which you can attack from that position or teleport to and from it. Now, before we dive into the battle, if you like D&D related content of any kind, make sure to subscribe to this channel or interact with this video in any way, just to let the algorithm know you like this kind of stuff. And if you want the character sheets for either of these builds, they're up on my Patreon. But let's go ahead and dive into the fight, because we're going to be doing this as the best of 3 fights, because there's always a chance somebody's going to get the lucky blow. They're each going to get 1 round to just set themselves up as much as possible, as long as whatever they're doing is not directly damaging the other player. And we're just assuming that they already have something like mage armor already active if they need it. And in the first initiative, Dante comes out ahead, rolling a 23 while Vergil falls behind with just a 2. Dante goes ahead and sets himself up really well to start, activating his bonus action for Hexblade's Curse, which is going to have some pretty considerable bonuses, with bonus damage and a bonus to his crit range if he needs it. Then he's going to use his action to activate Crown of Stars, aka getting Ebony and Ivory ready. Vergil's going to use his time setting up to activate his Blade Song, which gives him considerable boost to his damage as well as his armor class. So now he can add his intelligence modifier to his armor class. He can also add that same intelligence modifier to his damage thanks to the Song of Victory feature. Then it looks like he's actually activating his Devil Trigger right away, which is a big boost, by casting the spell Tensor's Transformation. This gives him a ton of temp HP. It also throws on a bit of extra damage and a few other bonuses. So let's go ahead and dive in. Looks like they're going to be starting the fight up close and personal, and Dante's going to come in swinging. He tries to hit right away, but Vergil casts Shield to block it. It would have hit with a 19, but that shield boosted up his armor class considerably. Then the second attack would just miss outright. Now he's already up close and personal, but he decides to use his bonus action to use that Crown of Stars to try and fire at close range. This is going to be at disadvantage due to being too close, and it does cause him to miss. But with shield already activated, Dante kind of doesn't want to use too many more resources, so that's going to be his turn. Next up, we got Vergil, and he dashes in, slashing away. He initially would hit with a 19, but thanks to Hex Armor from being a Hexblade, that completely misses, because Hex Armor just gives you a 50% chance of dodging any attack. However, the second attack coming from Vergil is going to land. Now he's only using a longsword, which he's using with one hand, but it's still going to do max damage for that, rolling an 8 on that d8 dice. Then he gets a considerable amount of modifiers. He gets to add his strength modifier of 5, his intelligence modifier of 5 as well, and then another +2 from the dueling fighting style. Not to mention, he has his Tensor's Transformation active, aka his devil form, so he gets an additional 2d12 to the damage, dealing a total of 38 damage with that single strike. But he still has his bonus action, and he activates his Manifest Echo, allowing him to have that echo in place for any additional attacking. But he unfortunately didn't optimize by casting that burst, so he's going to use Action Surge to try and capitalize a little more. And he winds up landing both attacks from the Action Surge, dealing 24 damage with the first hit and 32 with the second. But he does have one additional thing called Unleash Incarnation, so he can get one more attack from his Echo's location. But he can only use this feature a number of times equal to his Constitution modifier, so he's got a couple uses. And that one lands as well, dealing an additional 30 damage. This first round of combat is completely one-sided so far, with Vergil doing all of the damage, dealing a total of 124 damage in a single round to Dante. But nothing's been dealt to Vergil yet. Now, on the second turn of combat, Dante's not looking great. If it's another round like that, he's gonna wind up being down for the count. So Dante pulls out an ace and casts Hold Monster. This is gonna force a wisdom save from Vergil, which he's not great at. And Vergil fails, so he is held by the spell. Dante's going to capitalize on this, not risking the chance that he's going to break free, so he's going to go ahead and use his his action surge. Vergil is completely defenseless because thanks to Hold Monster, he's paralyzed, meaning he can't use any actions, reactions, or movement. Not to mention, he's incapacitated. So that means no casting shield, and any attack against him in melee range is going to be at advantage and automatically going to be a critical hit, which is huge for Dante. And that first attack is massive because it does land and it's auto critting. And with a crit, that 2d6 from his greatsword is going to become 4d6. And then he also gets to add 10 points from his charisma, 5 from just being a hex warrior, and 5 from life drinker as the eldritch invocation. He gets to add another +1 from his improved pact weapon, and another +10 from great weapon master. Then he's going to activate his eldritch smite, which would be 6d8 damage, but he gets to double that too thanks to it being a crit, being 12d8 for a massive 94 damage with the very first hit landed on Vergil. And Vergil is got the lower health pool of the two. And Dante has one more hit left as part of this action. And he winds up rolling in 23, which is another auto crit. And he would spend his Eldritch Smite, but unfortunately Eldritch Smite is only once per turn. However, I think he's still going to pull it off because he deals a lot of damage and it's 37 damage in total, being one more than he needed to take Vergil down for this round, meaning that he goes down in turn 2. Now, it's time for battle number 2. I think it's going to play out a little differently this time. For the initiative, Dante winds up rolling a 24 this time, and Vergil still only gets a 6. So Dante's going first again. This time around, Dante's still activating the same stuff as last time. So he's going to activate his Hexblade's Curse as his bonus action, and his Crown of Stars as his action. Vergil's going to activate his Blade Song because it's absolutely necessary, but it looks like Vergil wants some backup, so he's actually going to summon a Spirit of Death. This allows him to summon a Reaper spirit to help him out. So he's really getting to capitalize on the fact that he had some bad guys on his side in a couple of the Devil May Cry games. And God knows those Reapers were annoying to fight. However, it looks like in this battle, Vergil's playing it smart and trying to stay at a distance. Dante tries to run forward, but unfortunately he can't make enough of that distance up. So Dante busts out Ebony and Ivory and starts blasting away with Eldritch Blast. And it looks like 3 out of the 4 blasts coming from that cantrip are gonna land. And they get some boosts from Agonizing Blast and Hexblade's Curse, giving them each a +11 to the damage. And each blast hitting deals 18, then 12, then 20 damage. Then he follows up with 1 additional ranged shot from his Crown of Stars, and it definitely lands, dealing another 40 damage, which is still 90 damage from Dante just in round 1. Now it's Vergil's turn and he's still keeping his distance. Looks like he's going to make sure he can maintain that distance by using his action to cast Crown of Stars, then immediately using his bonus action to shoot out one of those stars at Dante. And Dante tries to activate his Hex Armor, but unfortunately it fails. And he takes the full brunt of that one, hitting for 24 damage. And now Vergil's Reaper Spirit swoops in to try and do some damage as well. And it looks like that Reaper was actually upcast. It wasn't just a 4th level spell, he casted it at 8th level. And that's a big boost because that means the Reaper is going to be doing 4 attacks per turn. The first attack comes in and hits for 17 damage. Then the second attack looks like it crits. But unfortunately, the double rolls don't help too much because he rolls low on both, dealing 20 damage with that second hit. The third attack also hits, dealing another 17 damage. And the final attack finally misses. Now it looks like the Reaper is actually positioning itself between Dante and Vergil, and it's going to activate its bonus action. Yep, it's using that bonus action for Haunt Creature, trying to force Dante to be afraid. And that wisdom save from Dante comes in, and Dante critically succeeds, meaning he is not going to be frightened. That would have been a huge help for Vergil because it would have meant that Dante couldn't get up close. But Dante still took 78 damage this round. Now it's Dante's turn again, and he's got a crucial choice to make. Either he can go ahead and try and run straight for Vergil, but this will provoke an opportunity attack from the Reaper. Or he can attack Vergil at range, but all of those attacks are going to be at disadvantage, courtesy of the Reaper being within range of him, trying to force him to not attack so well. Or finally, he can try to attack the Reaper directly, but it's usually better to attack the source of the summon. So what's he going to do? Looks like he's going to make a run for it, and he's going to just risk that opportunity attack. And it looks like the Reaper winds up missing. missing. And he gets to Vergil and starts attacking with his sword. And it looks like it's about to hit, but then Vergil winds up pulling out Shield to cast it as his reaction, boosting his armor class by 5 again and forcing that attack to miss. Then the second attack also misses. It looks like Dante's really leaning into that 2014 version of Great Weapon Master where it reduces his accuracy, which might have been a bit too much of a risk as he was really going for the kill. He then uses his bonus action to try and fire off one of his Crown of Stars, which he probably should have done while running over because now it's at disadvantage, but unfortunately he didn't optimize his turn. This leads to another miss, meaning it's a total failure of a turn for Dante. But he did get up close. Now Vergil's up. He uses his bonus action to activate his Echo again. Looks like he's trying to get as many strikes in as possible because he needs to go for the kill fast because Dante is hitting hard. He slashes at Dante twice right away. And the first attack is a critical miss, which is not off to a great start for Vergil. The second attack misses too. So he's going to wind up activating his Unleash Incarnation for one more attack from his Echo's position. And it's another critical miss. All right. Well, it looks like he doesn't want to give up on this turn, so he's going to activate his Action Surge because he really wants to take out Dante. And he's going to activate his Unleash Incarnation again, meaning that he gets 3 attacks. And it looks like all 3 of them hit this time, even getting past Dante's Hex Armor. And all 3 of them land, dealing a total of 52 damage. That's not enough to take out Dante, but in comes the Reaper Spirit to try and take him out. The Reaper Spirit has 4 attacks, but the first 2 miss. And then the second 2 actually do hit. The first one rolls pretty damn low with only a 1 on the dice, but that's 12 damage overall. And the last attack deals 14 damage. That's a total of 78 damage for this round, which is bringing Dante pretty low on health. I mean, he's still standing, but barely. He needs to end this fight fast, otherwise Vergil's going to completely take him out. Oh, but it looks like Vergil's not actually done with his turn. He's going to use his movement. He's going to provoke that opportunity attack to try and get some distance, which is probably a pretty smart move. He has just enough health that it won't be the biggest risk in the world, but at the same time, he can wind up getting more opportunity attacks if Dante tries to chase after him. Dante swings and it looks like it's going to hit, but Vergil winds up activating his shield again, giving him another +5 bonus armor class. He is really putting that 20 intelligence to work. This puts Dante in a really tough spot. He is super low on health. He has an Echo right near him, which can take opportunity attacks. And he also has a Reaper near him, which can also take opportunity attacks. So if he winds up trying to run after Vergil, he is risking it big because he does not have a lot of health left. But it looks like Dante's actually going to activate his Trickster fighting style by casting the spell Far Step. This allows him to teleport with every bonus action and while casting the spell in the first place. So this allows him to teleport, completely dodging every opportunity attack that would have come his way. So he's used his bonus action and he has 2 attacks left to try and swing at Vergil. If one of them lands, he's in big trouble. His first attack misses, but his second attack lands. And he's going to be putting everything he has into this, making sure that he uses every amount of damage he can. He gets 2d6 from his greatsword, 1 from his improved pact weapon, 5 from his Hex Warrior Charisma, 5 more from his Life Drinker Charisma, 10 points from his Great Weapon Master, and another 6d8 from another Eldritch Smite, coming out to a total of 62 damage from one single hit. This takes Vergil out of the fight again, making Dante the winner because he won 2 rounds out of the 3. We don't even have to go to a third battle anymore. I've always wanted to put a few of my builds up against each other, so I'm happy to finally give it a try. Let me know what you think about this battle in the comments down below, and if there's any other builds that you want to see fight against each other, I'm really curious to know the matchups. There's a few people in my Discord that have been asking for a few different matchups, so it's definitely something I want to do more of in the future. If you want access to the character sheet for either of these builds or any other builds that I've made in the past, feel free to check out my Patreon, linked in the description down below, where you can access to absolutely every one of my builds, including some that have actually been taken down from YouTube due to some copyright issues. But anybody that signs up to my Patreon also helps support this channel. If you made it all the way to the end of this D&D versus Death Battle, let me know by hitting that like button, and I'll be here helping you roll at least 3 nat 20s in your next D&D session, especially if you want to get some crazy PvP battles in your D&D sessions, and even more if it's from Devil May Cry.